1-0! How are you doing, guys? Welcome back to the Bar Stoolers. I am here in the Ballsbridge Hotel at Own Hands, former Ireland manager, his book launch here. I'm here with Tony Ward. Tony, thanks for talking to us.
Pleasure. Delighted.
Thank you. Our second proper journalist on this weird journalism show. First of all, talk about the Denmark match. How do you think the playoff game is going to go for the Republic of Ireland?
Well, obviously it's the ideal scenario where we're away first and then we know what to do when we get back. So the key is to make sure we're still involved when we get to half time for the return leg. I think it's brilliant because the way this Irish team is set up, as we know, is that they're very good on the counter-attack. They're good at soaking up pressure, as we saw against Wales in many, many games. So I think it's an ideal scenario for us to get a result in Copenhagen. And by a result, at least a draw, and I'm not losing the run of myself here, because the one thing we don't want to do is come back to the Aviva and have to go and really create to win the game, because that's where we struggle a little bit. Although Wes Hoolan will then come in clearly, but I'm optimistic like everybody. It'd be fantastic if we could do it.
Yes, definitely. You're actually covering the Rugby International on Saturday, South Africa against Ireland. South African rugby is struggling at the moment. Just in general, it seems to be in complete turmoil, except that they're going to win the 2023 World Cup. How do you see Saturday's game going and the rest of the autumn internationals?
Without losing the run of ourselves again, I would like to think that Joe Schmidt is setting the target of winning all three games. The first game is the most difficult against South Africa. It's the defining game for them in their year because they've had an indifferent year, but they were coming back in the end. They drew two of these championship games, as they're called, with Australia. They lost by 1 point to New Zealand, so they're back in the mix again. This will define their year. We win this game, then we've Fiji and Argentina, so it'll be a nice way to go into the Six Nations. I think we're well capable of doing it, but this is a massive game on Saturday. It's a pity actually in one way that they're both on Saturday, and yet, like for sports lovers, which we are, we're a sports staff nation, to go from the Aviva and immediately for people in sitting on the couch flicking on for the game in Copenhagen, and then at 5 a.m. the next morning you've got the Aussie Rules first test down in, I think it's in Melbourne, the first one, then Adelaide the second. What a 24 hours of sport.
I don't think I'll be in any fit state to watch the Gaelic match or the rules match. Also,
very envious.
At the very end, thank you. What do you make of actually the Simon Zebo situation, with him obviously moving away next year but not being included in the squad, and the whole, what's the right word? What is the right word? I don't know.
I don't like what's going on with Zebo because I can understand the rationale behind it. Not Zebo, but keep the Irish players at home for obvious reasons. They're easier to manage. They're not on contract to outside agencies. So obviously Joe Schmidt can call the players whenever he needs them. That said, I find it hard to take. In Zebo's case, there's 3 games coming up in the next 3 weeks. There's 5 Six Nations games, that's 8. And then we have a 3-test series against Australia. It's 11 internationals before he leaves and goes to Racing. I just think that he's been set as an example. I'm not too sure the same would happen if it was Johnny Sexton or Conor Murray, even Tyke Furlong, the tight head prop. So I think there's an element of double standards. And I feel sorry for Zebo in the circumstances. But look, that's the way the IRFU have chosen to do it. So we've got to accept it. And it's just a shot over the bow of every other Irish player saying, sorry, stay here or you lose your Irish place.
I think it's quite interesting. Within the football, it's all about getting the kind of granny rule players, and then in the rugby we have like homegrown players and we're casting them aside because they're going to play away from Ireland. And I think you're right that it is they're threatening the other players as such. So yeah, we'll be back with lots more leading up to the game. Tony, thank you very much. Hopefully as this becomes bigger, we can get you on more. But yeah, so we'll be back during the week.